Monday.
Yep, I saw.
It's just like a round table, just us talking about stuff. So
he tweeted it out, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. That's fine.
He's got a really cool community.
Like, dude, I forgot all about this. This has been circulating on TikTok. It's appropriate. No, we're live. It's The Last of Us. I forgot all about this. It says his shit got rocked. You remember this?
I can't see it because of the glare. Oh, yeah.
Remember when left, or whatever. I can't remember. We got rocked. I forgot all about that part.
It's left.
Got rocked.
I haven't played video games.
Yeah, dude, you've been absent.
I haven't played video games in like a month and a half almost. Like since Ratchet and Clank. Like I haven't played anything. Since you and I played Knockout City for like an hour. That was the last time I played.
You've been very busy. Yeah, man, you gotta get back on.
I know.
You really gotta get Warzone. That Warzone is a lot of fun now, and I don't know what's different about it, but something's different. It is different than it used to be. I think it might be more. I don't know.
I think they were getting into Apex again.
I'm down. I have that. And it's updated too. It updated yesterday.
So you heard about the 3v3 mode, right?
Mm-mm.
So it's like 3v3, one life, and then you like last person standing wins the round, and then you have to
3v3
like rounds.
3v3, one life. Oh, so like a Rainbow Six.
It's a smaller map.
Like a Rainbow Six style. I mean, well,
kind
there's
of,
mini games like that.
Yeah,
one life.
You can survive for longer than, yeah. What's up, T-Rose?
D-Rose, what's going on? I really, dude, I'm telling you, man, I really like Warzone now. Resurgence, Birth, Quads.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. I can't remember where you left off, but it's a lot of fun now. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Resurgence, right? So if you die,
yeah, Rebirth.
Like Rebirth, yeah. They give you a certain amount of
alive, and then you can come back. Yep.
I don't know why that's awesome to me because I really like it. And then they got another mode, man. So they have the giant map, the regular map.
Yeah.
And they do mini, where as soon as it starts, the gas is already smaller on like a certain spot, like very small. I'm like, oh, this is reckless.
that would be kind of interesting. That would...
yeah. On like the massive map, but all right. But enough of that.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, I remember what I want to get into. Corporate.
Let's do it. Ooh.
Yeah. Going into it. Fire.
Yeah. That's obviously a fiery topic. That is a fiery topic. I know on our next sports, at some point I got to bring up those examples of Peyton Manning.
Oh, we will be getting into that next one. That's why I was mad I was going to miss that podcast because I was about to go off on it. But all right, here we go.
Yep.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for tapping into some Untapped Keg. I'm RJ Zimmerman here with the co-pilot, the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Monte Ball. How you doing, big guy?
I'm good, man. I all is well. It's funny. I think I did the first 6, maybe. Our first ever 6 episodes. I think I did the intro, and then I think you took over from there. It's such just an awesome welcome that I get. So I just appreciate it. No? Well, what's up, man? I'm well. I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm a little tired still. Right from big vacation to big work. It's for anybody who doesn't know, I work on high voltage power lines. So I help get to the electricity from the generating station to your house. And when storms roll through, that's when I get busy. And storms rolled through Wisconsin this past week, and I have been busy.
Very.
We had a couple tornadoes drop down. None officially in our territory, but definitely some heavy winds, big trees down. But let's start here, okay? It is my youngest child's second birthday today.
It is.
Happy birthday.
It is.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Daddy
birthday.
Loves you. Daddy's proud of you. I'm excited to celebrate that.
It's a big birthday. It's a big birthday. The number 2. That is a big birthday. I remember my son's big 2. That's
I remember his second birthday.
Yeah. It's memorable. It's that number. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. I'm interested to watch his reaction.
I think he's going to start singing and not realize that we're singing to him. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we got to bet. We got to bet that he's going to tell everybody no. As soon as he realizes then that we're singing for him, he's like, no. This is his response. But anyways.
So my oldest is going to be jealous. So apparently we Ashley bought him a present too, so he won't be super jealous. And I'm like,
it's normal.
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
It's normal.
Because his birthday is like the youngest birthday is about exactly right in between 6 months.
I still get jealous.
His older birthday. I don't get
still
jealous.
Get jealous of my siblings' birthdays. No.
I'm just glad if I remember to send him a happy birthday text or a call. If we get halfway through the day, I'm like, there's something that's going on today. What is it?
Something.
Right. Oh,
let's get into
it. Is okay. Yeah. All right.
Let's get. No. You're good. I was just say let's go ahead and roll into this babble. We got a lot to catch up on. I mean, the last time was.
Are back.
We are.
We're back.
We are. We are back. We are back. I mean, last time we spoke, we were sitting in a hotel room out of the country. Again, we traveled safe. We got tested. I mean, this country that we traveled to was very strict for obvious reasons. So we came back. We're all safe, social distancing, etc. Wore a mask, all the above. Wonderful trip, wonderful vacation with the family. Good time getting away. As soon as we get back, man, you got super busy, huh? with work and
before I got back. So our plan was to get an episode in the can, to be able to upload it while we were on vacation, and then you had a really good idea. Hey, what do you think about just getting up early one day and recording an episode? I'm like, actually, that sounds really, really awesome. Right. That sounds almost like what we should do. Absolutely. So we did it. And I don't know, we didn't plan for technical stuff. So there was no audio and it's only on YouTube, but that's okay. That's okay. It worked.
We got it out there.
It's a good episode. It really is. It's a really solid episode. So if you haven't seen it, check out YouTube. We're having issues with Premiere right now, so hopefully soon we can get it uploaded to audio. And that's kind of what we have for that.
We'll get it up.
Vacation beforehand got really busy really quick. I guess I'll let people know I'm moving out of Wisconsin, so we are selling our house and we were getting stuff ready, so super, super busy. And then vacation hits. Obviously, we're gone for a week.
Hold on. Let's take a step back there. Let's let that simmer for a second again. That obviously I've known, but letting you have the opportunity to share it, of course. Leaving the state of Wisconsin, huh? Obviously you don't have to share where you're going, but how does that feel for someone? I mean, you're from here. This is your soil. This is your land, as in the state of Wisconsin.
I love motherland.
Yeah, and this is where you've been your entire life. How's it feel leaving, man? Like that can't be. That's gotta be a weird feeling, huh? I don't know. You
Not
tell
yet.
me. You tell
Maybe
me.
like after the first week, and I wake up and then I realize, oh, we're not going back. Then
Yeah.
it might catch up with me. That's kind of how I am. Like until it happens, I don't really. I don't know, maybe it's because I don't let my feelings come up or whatever, but so my family is not in Wisconsin. My family was the only family in Wisconsin. So anytime we had to go somewhere to visit family, we left the state. So we would leave the state for weeks at a time, all the time. So
Texas, right?
Texas, Iowa, Missouri. We went to Tennessee.
Wait, you got family in Missouri?
Yeah, Kansas City.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I remember my mom actually said that. I remember that.
Well, I had 3 cousins and an uncle that lived there, and then one of my cousins moved down to Texas. But
I got you.
yeah, and then one of my cousins lives in Atlanta, so we were planning on going to see them, be a little closer now, possibly be able to make that happen. But so right now, like I'm used to being out of the state of Wisconsin. It doesn't feel like a big deal right now, but come football season, it will be guaranteed because all of a sudden I won't be able to watch the.
I was gonna say you're leaving right when you're leaving right when the Horcrux might be broken.
Yeah.
The Wisconsin history, the Wisconsin sports history, that being in a nutshell, what we're talking about here, guys, is each team has been like cursed, making it all the way right there to the door of a championship, but just not opening up that door. Every single team, Bucks, Packers, Badgers,
Brewers.
But it seems like this year's going to be different, and you're leaving. Bucks already got the championship.
That's because Giannis just opened that door and slammed it home. He's like, nope.
Brewers are at the top of the Central, NL Central.
And they're looking good.
And looking really good. The Packers, we already know what they're gonna make it out of their division all the time. So this might be the year, and you're gonna be out of state.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Right. No, I'm just giving you crap.
I'll be texting, I'll be calling people for sure. It's gonna be interesting watching the Packer games. I don't know how I'm gonna do that yet. Because not every game is
you're going to be spending some money, sir. That's what you're going to be doing.
Probably what I'm going to have to do, unfortunately.
That's what you're going to be doing. Yeah, because where you're going to be is... or
I'll be just listening to it on the radio, which I'd be okay with that too. Catching the highlights. I'll have to spend some money, though, because we got a
lot to catch up on, man.
Yeah, it's something...
Later in the episode, I do want to talk some football later. Because I've been watching a lot of football lately, as in pre-camp stuff, camp stuff. I follow a lot more pages now and just been catching up on some information. Even though this is not our sports cast, I feel like we'll get into that at the end.
We'll touch on it.
Yeah, but go ahead.
All right. So here's what this is like my big topic that I want to talk about, and I'm not the moving topic, but so we go on vacation, and on our way back, United changes our flights like a month before. They change our flights 2 or 3 times. We're flying with he turns 2 now. So he was 1-year-old at the time and a 3-year-old. And we go from 1 layover to 2. And the first layover we had an hour and a half in between. Okay, should not be a big deal. But we have to get through customs at that first one. Second layover, we had 45 minutes. So we fly in to the first layover, get through customs, and at this airport where we go through customs, you have to go out of the security and back into and through security. It's like, what? Is that how it is everywhere you go through customs? Because I've never had a layover going through customs. I've only gone through customs where we were done.
Right.
This is the first time I've gone through customs and then had another flight to catch. So do you always leave customs and have to go through security again?
I've never done it before. That was my first time actually experiencing that, because they said whenever we got off the plane, the guy was directing us into the terminal, and he was like, if you have a connecting flight, you have to go get your luggage and then go back through security. I asked him twice because he had a pretty thick accent, so I was like, maybe I didn't hear him correctly. And he said it again. I was like, I got a connecting flight. I got to go get my bag and pretty much go through security again to get on this next flight. Yeah, so that was my first time as well too. It's different. It's different.
So the airlines know you have to do this. They have to know you have to do this, right? And we hit it right when I think 3 other flights arrived, and then there was a bunch of people getting there to get on their flights.
Yeah.
So if our flight was delayed at that second stop an hour, and if it was not delayed, we were not making that flight. We got through security when that flight was supposed to take off. Not when it was supposed to start boarding, when it was supposed to take off. We would have had to book it. I think we had to take a train too.
Oh,
we had to take a train to get to the terminal. So there was no way we were making it. So our flight's delayed. We're flying into Chicago, and I go up. We had 15 minutes from the time the plane landed to the next plane taking off.
Oh,
anybody who knows Chicago, you have to taxi for 15 minutes to get to your gate. You ain't making it. So I go up to the gate. I'm like, hey, there's no way we're making this connecting flight. Like, is there anything we can do? Can you fly us to like Detroit for a later flight to Milwaukee, whatever? Looks it up, refuses to check other airlines, whether other airlines have flights, and says, nope, you'll make it though. You'll make it. There's time in between. I'm like, we're flying with the 1 and a 3-year-old. Are you sure? Because you don't understand how much it takes to pack when you land and stuff.
That's annoying.
So, we get on the plane and ready to take off, and the only way that we were making this flight was the flight in Chicago to Milwaukee was delayed. When we're getting on the flight, they undelay the flight, and it's on time. So we land as that flight's taking off. It's like, well, we're not making it. And then it's supposed to be a 2.5-hour flight. It ends up being over 4 hours because they had to take a different flight path. So we really didn't make it. Flying to Chicago to United, and we go to get in line to figure out what we have to do. We have a 1 and a 3-year-old at this point too. And I'm not mad yet. Like, it is what it is. Chicago to Milwaukee, that's not very far. They'll get us a bus or something. Like, I can't get mad because thunderstorms delayed a flight. Like, why would I get mad about that?
Right.
In Chicago, there is like 80 people in line because they missed their flights. And we have people going to Germany, people going like all over the place, not just going home. And they have to get these flights for the next day. And then United is not giving out hotel rooms. They tell you to stay in the airport. And then because they overbook all their flights, they can only put you on standby. So they're putting my family with a 1 and 3-year-old on standby for the next morning. They tell us with a 1 and a 3-year-old sleep in the airport. They don't do buses anymore. They stopped that a few years ago. So there's no bus to take us an hour to the north to Milwaukee. And what else was there? Oh, they won't pay for a taxi. So they have all these people that they're saying you have
literally
to stay
stranded.
You have
literally stranded. Yeah, like that's the definition of literally stranded.
So then we asked if we could get our bags and stuff, and they said no, they're locked up for the night. And I'm like,
so we're supposed to stay here in this.
So my partner's
in
like,
the airport.
What are you talking about? Our bags are locked up. Oh, they're downstairs and they're locked up. We can't get to them. They outright lied to us about that. They'll be on our next flight. They'll be in Milwaukee. I'm like, okay. Luckily, you guys are landing in Chicago. We're not having a 1 and a 3-year-old sleep in the airport. I'm sorry.
Right.
I don't care who you are, and I don't care why you think that that's okay. That's not happening. Your dad looks it up, and he finds 10 hotels that have rooms. They're telling everybody the hotels are booked, so they can't get hotels for anybody. Turns out they only checked hotels they have deals with.
Yep.
So that's the only. They would not go out to help customers. This is corporate greed. This is what I'm talking about. They do not care. that you paid money to get where you have to go, they are going to pocket all of it and get you there the cheapest way possible. They will not look at other airlines. They will not do anything. And they say it's because of weather.
Yeah,
so
bull crap.
I go up with my 3-year-old sleeping on me, and I say, we found transportation. We need their car seats. Okay, well, baggage sometimes has extra car seats that you can borrow. It's like, no, I need
I want mine.
Seats.
I mean, yeah, it's like.
So she's like, well, let me make a phone call and I'll see if they can get it for you. So she calls down, and her friend is going to walk back and see if she can find our car seats. We get down there. There's 5 people working luggage. The luggage isn't locked up. They just don't want to have to go in the back and get everybody's luggage. So they lied to everybody that their luggage is locked up. Their luggage was not locked up. So corporate greed. It is beyond ridiculous that anybody that you paid your money to and could not fulfill make you do this. So 9:30 a.m. next morning is our flight. They have us on standby. The next flight after that is 11:30. We would also be on standby on that if we weren't able to get on the 9:30 flight. So we'd have to
that's my thing.
For 2 hours waiting for this flight and then not get on. And then we wouldn't even be guaranteed. And then the next flight was like 3 something.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing. That's the one that's a little odd for. Okay, the straw that broke the camel's back, in my opinion, all of that, it all sucks for one. And the being told you're stranded in an airport sucks. But the whole being put on standby the next day is like, oh no, it's like, I paid for a flight. I have a ticket. I have a seat. You guys overbooked. So don't put me on standby on the next one. No, give me a seat for the next flight. If you're not going to accommodate me for my troubles, now I got to stay in this airport. You're not going to pay for a hotel. Whatever happened to the days where they gave you a hotel and they gave you a food voucher?
Right. And that was also the thing. So we got in so late, no restaurants were open. So there was an 86-year-old man in front of us, hadn't eaten. And they were offering him the snacks from the flights because they couldn't get him food. And they told him to stay in the airport. There's no place open for him to get food. They weren't giving out food vouchers. They were giving out nothing. But they had free water bottles they were giving out to people. Sorry you have to sleep in an airport. Here's a free water bottle. Sorry you're on standby for the next day and you may not make your vacation. Here's a free water bottle.
You know what my dad said whenever you guys shared that information with us? It had me cracking up. He said, United ain't been the same since they dragged that doctor off the plane. Ever since that happened.
I almost spit my coffee all over the computer. That's a good one. But this is like what I'm getting
ever
at.
Since that happened, and then they just been acting up, United. Dude. Aren't they the airline that taped that woman to the seat?
No.
Granted.
No.
I think she was, that was a different airline?
She was trying to open the door mid-flight.
True, but which is necessary. Taper
everybody.
Right. But United has just been. I never fly United anymore because they always lose my bags.
It's United. It's Frontier. It's
Well, yeah. Right.
You look at all these airlines. It's all about corporate greed. They got a bailout Frontier from the government, and they took it and bought stock buybacks with it.
Yeah.
Like. At a certain point, corporate greed took over from it's not even greater good. You're allowed to make money, right? But when you make money at the detriment to your customers, which is what you're doing right now.
Yep.
I remember one time we flew Air Canada when we were going to Italy on our honeymoon. Our flight was delayed because of weather and we were going to miss our connecting flight. So they found a different flight on a different airline right away without us asking. We didn't even know this was happening. They called us up, told us this is what's happening. We're going to help you guys out. They got us a flight direct to Italy.
Oh, geez.
And it was a better flight. So they got us a flight on another airline. And then they gave us food vouchers for the
That's you're a business and you're
Yeah.
supposed to accommodate your customer. If the customer comes in, if the product is online and it says it's in the store and they come in saying, "Oh yeah, you said it's in the store, but it's not in the store," then I'm as a business, this is just an example, of course, but as a business, like, okay, now I'm going to accommodate you and now I'm going to give you half off on it because of your troubles or something like
or
that.
even 20% off, like
20% off. Yeah.
But they did nothing. They did literally nothing. So we ended up booking an Uber. So the kids went home with you guys, booked an Uber, drove, paid for it ourselves, drove to Milwaukee. It's just over an hour. It's not far. I looked up rental cars. There were no rental cars. Otherwise,
no, it's just a super inconvenience.
What are you doing? And then
that's not what I paid for.
Refund me my money until we missed, like, we didn't get on that next flight. Like, that is such, whatever. It's like personal problems get flying from Chicago to Milwaukee, right? But companies need to do better for their customers. They need to do better, and they need to face consequences when they don't. And this is ridiculous. Flights? Not just how are you overbooking flights, but how are you telling 100-some people that they have to stay in the airport? They can't get their bags. You're not going to find them any hotel. There are hotels available, and you aren't going to pay for one because you're too cheap, because of your bottom line.
This is
you make billions of dollars a year, and you can't spend the $5,000 it would take to put all those people in a hotel room. We're talking peanuts. And then you're not going to pay your workers either. You're going to cap your workers that they work to keep us safe. The only reason that we're safe in the air is because of the work that they do. Yeah. I'm
out of it irate
about this. And then you don't want to pay your workers, so people aren't going to come work for you. And then you get mad and you say people are lazy. They don't want to work for their money. They want to sit at home. No, you don't want to pay people, so people aren't going to come work for you. That's what it is.
Well, and they're probably tired of getting cussed out by customers for the airline's fault. It's not their fault, the ticket person's fault. It's the airline's fault. But again, it's still the airline not accommodating the customer, so the customer's just taking it out on the person in front of them. I'd be sick of that too. I bring that up because as we're waiting in the airport in Miami, as we were coming back, we just now got back into the country. We saw a gentleman who was up at the counter at Frontier going off, screaming. Got 2 police officers were called to the gate for him because he was just mad. The same stuff. He was like, "You guys keep screwing me." He said, "You guys just keep screwing my ticket up or something." They flagged him for some odd reason. He does not know the reason. Long story short, I mean, obviously he's through security. Security. He's sitting at the terminal at the gate, and he just kept screaming at them, saying, "All you guys keep telling me to do is just call this 1-800 number," and no one picks up. He was like, "I've been here for like 5 hours, stranded in Miami." And then he even said it too, "Can you guys at least give me a hotel?"
Yeah.
Screaming at them. And I was just like, I kind of, you don't obviously you don't have to scream to get your point across, but I understand the frustration. I mean, we're talking 10 at night. I mean, again, just another example of this corporate greed. You're making money off the backs of people going through a troubled time, or it's just difficulty, inconvenience, and you just don't care. You just don't care.
And
all
that's
right.
the thing. If you show compassion,
in the airport, good luck.
Get us a hotel room.
Everyone put you on standby for the next day. I'm telling you, that's the straw for me. Broke the camel's back. Okay, you screwed me here. That's fine. If I need to sleep here in the airport, whatever. But now you're gonna put me on standby. So now I may fly out tomorrow. I may not. So what the hell did I pay for?
Yeah. And we had a check bag with a bunch of diapers in it. We were down to 1 diaper because we were expecting to be home by that time.
Right.
So we had 1 diaper, and they were like, "Well, we can't get your bag. It's locked up." And it's like, this is such.
You want me staying in the airport, but I can't get my bag that has my stuff in it to, accommodate my stay.
Yeah. It's how much money is enough? Like that's what we really get down to. Like, how much money do you have to make before you're like, you know what? Greater good. Finally, we're gonna make this society a better place. Like, there's a social contract, and when you take everything and you hoard it for yourselves, airlines, That's a big problem. Like there is a point where air travel is a necessity because time is our greatest asset. It's what we have that is the most valuable resource. It's our greatest resource. Flying helps us save that. There is a price to that, so we pay for that. But then when you can't help us finish that contract that we are expecting you to come through, and you say, well, my hands are tied. No, that's not true. You just refuse to help. Like, that's what that is. That is corporate greed. And at a certain point, you need to be way closer regulated because you are breaking the contract that we are expecting giving you this money.
Yeah.
And beyond ridiculous. Beyond ridiculous. I should not have to find my own transportation there, pay for it out of my own pocket. Because other people, they can't do that. They can't do it, period. So if somebody had to work the next day and they missed it, and then they could get fired because they missed that.
So true.
Like, you have to do better. You have to. When it's only an hour trip to the north, you can rent a bus. I know there were multiple people that's the flight they needed. Rent a bus and get us there. That wouldn't have costed a lot.
That would have, like you said, peanuts to a multi-billion-dollar organization company. Oh, hey, we need to pay for a bus for.
But when they lose $1 million because COVID and people aren't traveling, we need to bail out. We need to bail out right now because we are not going to make record profits this year. We're going to be closer to the red, even though we're still in the black. We're going to be closer to the red. We're going to have to lay everybody off because I need to go golfing in the Caymans.
Corporate greed, man.
F these people. F these
corporate
people.
greed.
I'm mad.
Welcome to America.
Unionize. Know what you're worth. Don't let people take advantage of you.
It's a good one.
There's a little bit of room that you have to give people. After that, don't give in. Don't give in.
It was interesting. I'll say that. It was very, very interesting. Things were going smooth on my end.
On the entire trip, things were great. It was one of the best vacations I've ever had.
It was nice. It was nice.
My now 2-year-old jumped off the side of a boat into the ocean, like 15 foot down.
15.
He didn't just do it once, he did it twice. I was waiting at the bottom. Don't worry, everybody. Like, it was okay. He wanted to do it. No, he's the one who jumped. He was good.
Yeah, I still watch that video. It's crazy. Corporate greed, man. I tell you, man. And bringing it back to that again, just last thing. Still, what I get hung up on every single time is to put on standby. That, to me, I would have been irate. I would have been like, I would have been so mad. I would have just laughed. I would have been like, wait. So you're putting me through all this, and now you're going to put me on standby for tomorrow. So I don't even know when I'm going to fly out tomorrow, if I even fly out tomorrow. What did I pay for? That's what did I pay for? I paid to sleep in the airport. That's essentially what you paid for, or to hang out in the airport. That's just, you would think an airline like United wouldn't do that. Yeah, you think like Spirit or something, or something. Again, I'm not here to bash any companies, of course, but let's just be honest.
You would think Spirit, Frontier, American, they would for sure.
But
actually, no. I've never had issues with American. I'm sorry.
Neither have I, actually. Neither have I. It would be Spirit or Frontier that would do that for sure. But you would not expect for United to I always expect for United to lose your bags. That's why I haven't flown with them in a very, very long time, because they always lose my bags every time. And so often, you guys, to where I knew that they were going to lose the bag. I don't know if they were searching through the bag because they may have saw my name on it or something. I don't know. But it was so obvious. It was happening so many times. It was so repetitive. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm done with this airline. But anyways, United doing that is just odd, man. And that sucks. But I'm glad you guys figured it out. And hopefully they're going to reimburse you for the taxi or what have you, something. I would be on that phone. I'd be on their ass.
That's what I said they should be paying for this taxi because it got us from Chicago to Milwaukee, and they promised to do that.
It would be doubled for the penalty.
right? I'd have to pay interest if it cost them money. So,
Oh, you know it. Oh yeah,
but
yeah, you're gonna pay $4,000 just to change your flight. It was like, oh wait, no, I got insurance. Oh well, the insurance it really just covers blah 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 blah.
so that's why we didn't record last week, because you guys got in very late, so you didn't get home till 4 a.m. I didn't get home till 6 a.m. So yeah, last week we were gonna record an episode.
It was hectic.
And it was like,
it was hectic.
Let's do it the next night, and then storms roll through Wisconsin, and I'm out working, and then it's like, okay, we'll push it to later in the week, and then we have very special guest on a Sports Op podcast. Super excited.
Yeah,
I get called up north again. So I'm tired. I have 3 hours of sleep on Sunday. Monday, go to work, whatever. Tuesday, I'm up working, 16-hour day, staying in a hotel. It was actually a little more than a 16-hour day. And then wake up in the morning, drive home. They're like, there's going to be storms Wednesday night. Go home, get rest. Don't bust your butts on Wednesday. Just relax. Get home. I'm sleeping. Tornado warning. Go in the basement.
Yeah.
The kids in the basement. Everybody check the radar. Okay, it's for the southwest of us. All right, we're good. I'm going to try to go back to sleep. Try to go to sleep, then tornado warning's over. Get the kids back upstairs, get them in bed. And then I wake up knowing I'm going to be going up north. And it's like, it was
hit from every direction. That's just what happened.
And then technical issues. Obviously, we talked about Premiere. We had other issues, and it's like just a week. It was a week.
And I that's why I put that tweet out there too. It's like, hey, we're a year, a couple months into the podcast, and we're bound to have one of those weeks for sure. Some of the greatest shows out there, podcasts, have issues. So we would just really appreciate everybody still bearing with us for that. But anyways.
So it was a little stressful. It was a little stressful.
I know. I was letting that just simmer there for a second. That's that would be, I would be pissed. I'm just gonna say, gosh.
When it comes to cravings, we always talk about removing yourself from like situations and finding something else to do.
Yeah.
Some of the hardest moments that I have is on storm, and you get done working your second 16, 17-hour day in a row and like third of the week, and you go to the hotel, and a bunch of guys you haven't seen for a year, 2 years are there drinking. That's when it gets the hardest, when they're drinking and telling stories, and you're having a really good time, and you can smell the beer that you used to drink, even though it's like 3 people down and there's 4 drinks in between you. You have your little soda, but you can smell that one, the one that you used to drink. You can smell, and you remember what it tastes like. You can still feel the bubbles on your tongue.
Yeah, man.
And that's how I felt. You just know it's gonna hit. You know it's gonna hit. But
I got a couple cravings.
With that?
Yeah, I got a couple cravings towards the end of our vacation. So I was just like, man, like this. You're in the Caribbean. You're good weather.
They got good rum.
Just all the above, and I was just like, man, I know my old self. I would be drinking right now, or tipsy, or drunk. But obviously, I was able to manage it. You were able to manage it as well. So how do we handle it? It all depends. Obviously, for those listening in, it all depends on where you're at in your recovery. You have to be honest with yourself, for sure, if you are capable of being around those scenarios, being around those folks. But us being in a good place in our recovery, like, I'm not worried. I'm not worried that you were in that situation, because obviously I know that you're in a good place in your recovery, and vice versa. I think there's
a lot of stress added up to it, though, right? Like,
that's true.
There is
that everything that was mentioned, and then and then you got that in front of you.
We had a listener tweeting earlier in the week about how when you go sober, people treat you different. It's true. It's true. And I had a feeling of where it was going where his tweets were going to go. And then the next day he tweeted about how he's had friends that haven't talked to him since he's gotten sober. They just ghosted him. And people he used to hang out with are not there anymore. You know, I tweeted at him and I'm like, the cravings don't go away. It stinks. You lose friends.
Right.
We try to be honest about that there are people that in your life that aren't going to be there after a couple months, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's something that you have to be aware of, but it shouldn't scare you away. My life has not been less fun since I stopped drinking. It's been more fun. I remember everything.
Right.
I remember everything I did last night. I remember everything that I did on that storm. Like, I remember all of it. I don't have to wake up thinking about who do I have to apologize for. Because if I do, I know what I have to apologize for.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. There's many perks to getting away from the bottle. That's for sure. Remembering vacation, all of the above. Not running into the law. It's been good. It's been good for sure. But I understand how the summer could be difficult for folks.
Vacation, like you said. You see those the good rum mixed drinks, right?
Yeah. You get the music, you got the sun, you got the beach, it's the perfect storm, literally.
Part of it too is how our society wraps drinking up into everything. So if it was just that, like, I don't know if we'd have cravings, but because every single movie, when people are happiest, when they're relaxing, it's that music, it's the shirt, the vibes, and they got a beer or a drink in their hand.
Mm-hmm.
Or every single movie, TV show, whatever it is, like, society tells you when you're having a good time, you should be having some alcohol.
You should be drinking. That's true. That's a really good point. That's actually a very, very simple way of putting it. Talking about just the American society, our culture. I mean, there's other countries do the same. But it's, if you are having a good time, how Hollywood depicts it is if you're having a good time, there has to be alcohol present or some form of a drug, some drug that alters your state, your mind. That means you're having a good time.
Right? That means your life is good. Not just you're having a good time.
That your life is good.
That's good.
Deep. That's deep. It's deep because that is so true. When you sit back and actually really think about that. Every time you see it on movies, it's when they get to that point of happiness towards the end of the movie where they're all sitting around the dining table and toasting their accomplishments, their life is good and they're drinking. Or obviously when they're at parties, their life is good and they're drinking. Commercials, summer commercials, people jumping into the lake, a summer shandy commercial, whatever, the beer here, whatever they're called.
No, there's summer shandies.
Summer shandy. So I never thought that's the very, very good and simple way of putting it. That is true.
One thing I want to say, like, I'm not anti-alcohol because some people can be responsible with it.
Right.
But it is interesting how we always depict it not we, but like everybody depicts it that way. And then,
well, it's just
when you say you're an alcoholic, people are like, well, why?
Right.
Why are you? Why do you drink so much? Why, why can't you stop? Why
it's like, what do you mean by you drink
cravings?
It's like, take a step back and actually look. Like, but that's the thing is, again, I love how you mentioned that too, because I think that's an important topic that I think we briefly touched on in the past, but not so much in depth. Like, we're not anti-alcohol.
Yep.
And I think that's what makes people feel a little weird around us when we're in those social settings and they're questioning if they should drink or not. I think that's where that barrier comes into play, or is because they're like, okay, are they anti-alcohol? Are they now judging me because I'm drinking? Absolutely not. But absolutely not. And I always tell folks that just because I couldn't handle it doesn't mean you can't. Drink responsibly. If you're gonna drink, Uber or have a DD, etc., you take care of yourself. But I think it's when you are drinking, when you're in that lifestyle, the analogy of being inside the bottle, you can't read the label.
Mm-hmm.
So for that question, when people say, well, why are you an alcoholic? Why do you drink so much? It's like, get outside the bottle for a second, literally and figuratively, and just take a step back and look at how much alcohol is advertised. I mean, let's be honest, sports run this country, run a huge part of this country, bringing a lot of revenue, entertainment. It's entertainment, it's money driven business. It brings in so much money for these cities. Well, you got Anheuser-Busch doing all of their advertisements on all these sports, the commercials, Super Bowl commercials, all of the above, sponsoring massive events, Bud Light, Budweiser, all of the above. So it's just always right there in your face. And especially, like I said, talking about American sports, they're heavily televised, heavily just watch this game, watch. And so on social media as well. Again, what comes with that are the ads, beer, alcohol, all of the above. So, I mean, it's just all around. It's all around. You see it everywhere. Someone in our chat right now, Jenny, she saw it this morning. Some beer, a White Claw, an unopened White Claw near the dumpster this morning. It just is what it is. Unfortunately, it is very different here in this country, but also in the state of Wisconsin. And again, I may be all over the place right there.
Well, speaking of that, we had a question on our last YouTube video from Active Saints, who I believe is Jimmy. If it is you, Jimmy, speak up. I miss you. What's up? He says what we would think a healthy relationship with alcohol looks like. With us being from Wisconsin, alcohol is involved in everything we do. It's part of our culture. It's like, yes, absolutely. It is absolutely part of our culture. Not only is it part of our culture, it's part of our, how much we can drink more than you is part of the culture, right?
It's like competitiveness.
And I'm not going to lie. I've been sober for 7 years, and I would still tell people that I could drink them under the table. But that's because the culture that I've been raised in, like, and I would be serious about it.
So what was the question again?
What do you think a healthy relationship with alcohol looks like? And with that being part of our culture, how does that, Wisconsin's culture?
Unfortunately, I don't think
influence it.
Unfortunately, I think out of all the folks of age in the country who consume alcohol, I would say only 5% consume it responsibly. Or excuse me, no, let me rephrase that. Only 5% have a healthy relationship with it. 10% have a healthy relationship with it. I would say it's a very, very small number that has a healthy relationship with alcohol. Because if you go by the guidelines that the doctors go by or whatever, it's like, okay, well, how many drinks do you have a week? And they say if you have 5 drinks a week, you're an alcoholic. Out of all the folks who drink alcohol in this country of age, you know for dang sure that they're drinking more than 5 drinks a week. People have a glass of wine after work every day.
For some,
sometimes 3, exactly. Sometimes the bottle.
What do you think a healthy relationship with alcohol looks like?
Now, to answer the question, what does it look like?
So for me,
I really like that question.
It would be like you have a beer with your dinner, and then kind of like that's it. Like even if you have one every night with your dinner, maybe 2, like at night, like that's kind of it. And then you can just stop yourself. Or like, let's say you go out with friends and you're not like chugging drinks left and right. You're not double fisting. You could take a shot here or there with your friends, but you can stop yourself, not drive, not make, like, being able to stop yourself mid-consumption to me is a sign of a healthy relationship, but also being able to understand when you need to like skip a night of drinking, or how it affects you mentally a little bit. You know, there's a lot of different things that can go into it.
I like that. And I think and again, I mentioned what I mentioned because I just want for people to really understand that as well. If we actually go by the guidelines, maybe they need to adjust the guidelines, but again, adjusting the guidelines, does that say more about the folks in the country that we need to just keep raising the bar? of that alcoholic bar. Oh no, now it should be 10 drinks
Well,
a week or
there's
15 drinks a
there's
week. Then you're an
Wisconsin
alcoholic.
drinking, and then there's everybody else, right?
True.
Or I should say, there's Wisconsin drinking, and then there's kind of everybody else.
I think my answer to that question, not a lot of what you said is what I would say as well too, is being able to pull back significantly, like in the moment, mid consumption. I think that's a very very important tool to have in the toolkit for having a healthy relationship with alcohol. But also, I believe too, is if you are very comfortable, if you are really really comfortable with planning events without alcohol, and if like you internally are comfortable with that, if you get to that point, or if you are at that point where you can actually plan events without even thinking about alcohol or bringing alcohol to the scene, or and if you're actually internally comfortable with that, I think that's a good sign that you have a healthy relationship with alcohol.
That's a good point too. That's
Yeah.
That's something that you don't do in Wisconsin, though, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like, and again, and I say
quarter barrel,
right, and I say internally because again, there are many events that are planned that it would be very inappropriate to bring alcohol to a church event. No, as in like
what?
at a church. At a church.
Yeah, dude,
like
still, this is like Wisconsin. What? You don't go to church and not drink?
No, I said internally because it's like, okay, how do you actually feel knowing you're going to this event, you're going to this social gathering that you actually planned, or maybe even if somebody else planned it, but there's not going to be any alcohol. Do you actually feel okay, or are you really thinking, man, this will be so much better if there's alcohol? Whatever side you fall on is your answer to that question.
That's a good point.
In my opinion,
That's solid.
Yeah. I like that question.
I'm glad we can get that question in from Jimmy. So
Indeed.
If it is Jimmy, Equitas Saints.
Indeed. I like that question.
I was going to say, when it comes to Wisconsin, you being from another state, is it really as much alcohol is drank as the stereotype is, as we kind of are led to believe, or do you think it's actually kind of similar?
I think it's similar. See, I love that question because I think it is similar. Alcohol consumption, everything, it's perception. Perception is reality. And the perception of Wisconsin is the drunkest state in America. That is just a perception. That is just the badge of honor here. And because it's such a badge of honor, that's just what it is now. All 50 states, all the rest of the 49 states know super drunk state is Wisconsin because the folks there rant about it. The folks there wear it on their sleeve. But back home in Missouri, alcohol is consumed the same way. It's just not advertised the same way.
Sure.
And when I talk about advertising, I'm not talking about on television, because on television, no matter what, there's red tape.
I'm just talking about anybody in Wisconsin on the street. They'll tell you that they can drink you under the table.
It's just about how it's
proudly
how it's talked about on the streets, the bars, schools, etc. The culture does not surround alcohol back in Missouri like it does here in Wisconsin. That's just what it is. It's literally in the culture in the state. But again, it's probably consumed the same, but just how it's just in the culture. It's in the culture. It's in the fabric. And that's just different from back home.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. So,
Jenny, I was in the St. Charles County area, about 40 miles straight west of St. Louis. So more actually at the time it was a rural area. And don't get me wrong, alcohol is still consumed a lot. But I was in high school. I mean, teenagers are consuming alcohol, unfortunately, but it's just not in the culture like it is here. It is just talked about a lot in Wisconsin. Everywhere you go, every event, obviously on television. It is what happens here. But anyways, and again, I like Wisconsin though, but that needs to change. It does.
We yeah, it's just I noticed it from some of my family in Iowa as well. Like they could drink, right? But then when they would drink with my brother and I, no, they couldn't. But like my brother has a way healthier relationship with alcohol, and I think part of it was seeing me and how I struggled with it. And my brother did have his struggles as well in his 20s, early 20s. But he was able to pull back, and he is able to have a beer and be done. He's able to have 2 mixed drinks, be done. Just, you know, he doesn't, the first thing he does when he comes home from work is take a nap. It's not open a beer. So
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of him to be able to, break that family curse. Because, and my grandpa had intermittent periods of being sober because he would drink a lot. My dad is sober, pretty much for the same reason I'm also sober. It's something that I'm gonna have to be open and talk about with my 2 boys. Is that this is something that runs in the family and you have to be careful about. And it's not just alcohol, it's the addictive personality.
Yeah.
Because I definitely have an addictive personality.
It's a self-medication. It's the thought process. It's just unfortunate that our the self-medication that we used was detrimental to our health. Because you can self-medicate with puzzles. Oh, I love doing puzzles because it helps me when I'm feeling depressed or when I'm XYZ. Ours was just poisoning our system. So yeah, that's important as well too. You talk about the alcohol, obviously, when my son becomes of age as well too. Nature versus nurture. Is it the gene or is it what he's brought up in? But long story short, I'm going to share the same thing with him, but also talk more about as well the self-medication. Understand what's your vice.
Yep.
What is your vice? We all have them. Just make sure that vice is a healthy vice.
I want to be the person to be able to have conversations with my kids.
Yeah.
Even though they might make me uncomfortable, like I want them to understand that they can talk to me about anything. And they don't have to hide things from me, right? Or keep things down or not be honest with themselves. That's something that I want to do as a parent so that hopefully they don't have that hole. So
yeah, that's an important thing. And I think honestly, with all of that, I think also, quick little transition here, just talking about being a parent and stuff. I think honestly, the greatest gift, obviously, other than, talking to your kids, talking to my son about, the dangers of treading down that path of experimenting with alcohol, is the greatest gift I think a parent can give their kid, is the ability to overcome adversity. That's the greatest gift, in my opinion, I think that a parent can give their child. Because that is just life. Life's going to beat the shit out of you 24/7. That's just what it is. That's just so unfortunate. The day you're born, you're going to be getting your ass figuratively kicked for the next amount of years that you're alive. Obviously, there's different. It's a broad spectrum of how that's going to be, but that's just life. Unfortunately, it's unfair. But I think the greatest gift you can give your child is the ability to overcome adversity. Examples while they're growing up. Let them go through healthy, troubling times. Let them figure it out. Show them how to overcome it, maybe, but then a couple of years down the road, let's see how they overcome it. That to me, I just wanted to share that. Because I think that's important.
Definitely. I appreciate that.
No. I'm not telling you how to. Trust me, I'm not telling you how to be a parent.
No. I know. I'm saying, like, I appreciate that way of looking at it, right? Yeah. So we need to start.
Yeah.
It's
on you.
Winding down here. So
this was kind of just a regather podcast, but again, we got some exciting episodes coming up. Let's go ahead and talk real quick. Let's end on what we got coming up. I mean, again, you mentioned we got a very important guest, very awesome guest. We've already tweeted it out, so we're working on scheduling. Sean Merriman's going to be joining us, and he already gave us the green light. We just got to figure out the date and time.
Yep.
That's going to be exciting. Was definitely exciting. We got after that. I'm going to be giving examples of how Peyton Manning was with Adam Gase. Woo! I got plenty of examples, you guys.
Especially
and again,
as far as it relates to the Aaron Rodgers press conference. Right?
Yes. And again, each example is not going to paint either person in a negative light. I like both people. But I got some interesting stories of some interesting arguments that I heard on the sideline in a game between them two. What else we got cooking up, man?
Well, we're hoping to get some more football players on, right?
Yes.
Looking at getting a doctor.
Oh yeah, that's gonna happen. I was with her yesterday, so that's gonna happen. She said we can do that this upcoming week. Just gotta pick a day. Just pick a day, so that's gonna be awesome.
So when we get this going, we're gonna have some really fun guests.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, we might have our first recurring guest on this show too. So it'd be kind of cool. Yeah, look for our sports podcast. We're going to be going ham on the next one. We got a lot bottled up since the last ones.
I'm going ham.
Yeah,
I'm going ham.
We give, we got guests coming up. Look for it. We'll have our shows coming back now. There might be a week where we have to postpone, get me out to Virginia with some internet, and I guess now you know where I'm going. And then we'll go from there. So check us out next week. Check us out later this week. And everybody, let's have a great week, right?
Indeed.
It's going to be.
Indeed.
We're going to have some really exciting episodes coming up.
We do.
And
we do.
We're not going to hide. We're not going to hide. Yep.
Your boy lights out.
So let's try to be better tomorrow than we were today, because at least if we don't make it, we tried. And everybody have a good week. Happy birthday to my baby. I love you.
Happy birthday.
And we'll talk to you guys later.